station.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Friday, Halloween, October 31st, 2025. Beautiful day outside for trick-or-treating. Hope you're safe and careful and all that. And thank you for spending these next 2 hours with me. It's me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement every single day. World Series Game 5 is tonight. We have the Knicks against the Bulls tonight. We're going to talk to Frank Isola at 1:30 to break down what's going on with the Knicks, who are 2-2. And then we'll talk to Buster Olney live from Toronto, where he'll be part of the radio call on ESPN Radio for Game 6 of the World Series. And I mentioned that it's Halloween, and so I just want to make a quick detour, whatever way you'd like to pronounce it. We had a fantasy draft of Halloween candy, and Tom Bauer, who is on the board for the show many, many times throughout the week, not enough for my taste. He, right before I went on, he took a shot at the 4 candies that I picked for my draft. Now, you don't get to pick whatever 4 you want. You have to go in order, and I was the 4th pick in the first round. So I picked my 4 candies: Mounds, Nestle Crunch, Junior Mints, and Milk Duds. I think that's a winner. I think that's a team that could go all the way to the championship round. Tom took exception to that. And, Tom, I'd like you to articulate to our great listeners why you thought it was such a bad draft for me.
Yeah, Michael, taking Mounds in the first round, that's like an automatic L in the draft entirely. That's not even a first-round pick. That's like if you're picking Zach Wilson second overall if you're the New York Jets type of bad.
And it did happen. And, by the way, Mounds is a delightful treat.
Yeah, whatever you say. I think it's awful.
You don't like Mounds?
No, not a Mounds guy.
Okay. And what's wrong with Nestle Crunch?
Nothing wrong with Crunch. That is a sleeper in the first round if I were drafting. No problem with Nestle Crunch.
Junior Mints you don't like?
I don't like mint chocolate candy at all.
And Milk Duds, you're not a fan?
No, it's like chewing on rubber. It's awful.
Wow. Well, the fact that you've chewed on rubber also is a little bit of a concern, which we'll get to at another time. Let me give you the rest of the shows. Barton Carlin, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, number 1. 100 gram, which if it was around when I was selecting with the 3rd pick, I might have gone with that. Butterfinger is the 3rd pick, and Twizzler the 4th pick. Now, Dan Grosso went Twix, Reese's Pieces, Starburst, and Milky Way. And then Don Hahn and Rosenberg went Kit Kat, M&M Peanut, Skittles, and then this is so weak. They went Hershey's Almond because DiPietro and Rothenberg, they went Snickers, regular Hershey's, Sour Patch, and regular M&Ms. So, Tom, you have all the picks in front of you. Who do you think had the best draft?
Well, listen, I'm going to be biased here and say Barton Carlin because Reese's obviously the go-to. Butterfinger, Twizzlers, underrated, and 100 grand also underrated. So, I'm very happy about that. However, if I had to give a close honorable mention for first place, probably Don Hahn and Rosenberg. They got a lot of variety there.
So you're a big Skittles fan?
Big Skittle guy.
And you like Hershey with almonds?
Have no problem with that. That's a good candy.
Kit Kat strong, I agree.
I think Kit Kat's overrated, but that's okay.
But that's their number 1 pick.
Yeah, it's still a good candy. I think it's just overrated.
Well, who rates it so high that you're down on that person?
Everybody. Everybody says Kit Kat's the best of all time every Halloween, and I disagree thoroughly.
And M&M's Peanuts. You're a fan of that?
Best way to enjoy an M&M.
I agree. I love M&M Peanuts. But, we'll let the people decide. It's up on our ESPN New York page. Again, my picks, Mounds, Nestle Crunch, Junior Mints, and Milk Duds. And Tom Bauer's down on that. It's sad. It's sad. I thought we had something going, Tom, and it bothers me. I have lived in this home in which I live for 11 years. And there's other houses around it, all right? In 11 years, I'm not even exaggerating for effect. In 11 years, I've never had one person come to the door for trick or treat. Not one. Now, tell me that's not odd. It's almost like I'm living in an alternate universe. There are houses around. Like Chris Sims said yesterday, he lives in backcountry. and like it's another half mile before another house. So obviously he's got big time money, and nobody comes to his house because it's not time efficient. But mine, you could bang out my house, and you can bang out 5 houses in like 5 minutes. But they don't come to the house. I don't know. Maybe they think they're going to get apples here. I'm not sure. Anybody who gives out pennies for Halloween, you got a problem. Because I'm going to relate that. When I was a kid, they'd give out pennies. But when I was a kid, like when I was 8 years old, it was 1969. So pennies were not as worthless as they are now. You can't get anything for a penny anymore. You can't even get a gumball. Those are nickels now, not pennies. That's why I think they have to change the valuation on 100 grand bar. Because when it came out, it was called the $100,000 bar. And everybody's like, wow, 100,000. They've got to make it a $100 million bar. They have to. With inflation the way it is, 100 grand doesn't ring the bell the way it used to. Do you at least agree with that, Tom? He's not listening. Sad. Absolutely pathetic. Really is. You can actually enjoy us right now on the YouTube channel, ESPN New York YouTube channel. Now, I've changed where I'm doing the show at this point, and the light's a little bit different. So I've got the beard, and I've got my hair, and I got a pair of glasses on, and I've got to tell you, you've got to tune in to the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Here's what you do. You go to ESPN New York, where you could listen to the show, and then you could click on the panel for the ESPN New York YouTube channel, subscribe for free, and you see the whole show visually as well as audibly. I look right now, no knock on the man, but he's much older than me. I look like Wolf Blitzer. And this Wolf Blitzer look for me is going to make me probably shave my beard. It's not something that I should feel really good about. Again, no knock on Wolf. It works for him. And Wolf is older than me, older than I am. This is just an awful, awful look right now. Awful. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can tell me how bad it looks and how much I do look like Wolf Blitzer. 1-800-919-3776. We told you we have our good buddy Frank Isola at 1:30, and we have Buster Olney. He's going to join us at 2 live from Toronto, where they'll play Game 6 of the World Series. Toronto leads 3-2, so they could win. The Blue Jays could win their first championship since 1993. The Dodgers have to win 2 in a row on the road in order to win their second straight and be the first repeat champion since the Yankees at the end of the 90s. 1-800-919-3776. You would say that the pitching matchup favors the Dodgers, but not by a great amount. Yamamoto's been unbelievable. 2 straight complete games. And you wonder with certain managers that are out there that get that itchy trigger finger, if they would allow Yamamoto to pitch 9 innings. And I don't think that Dave Roberts in any other year would have allowed Yamamoto to do that. But Dave Roberts, the Dodger manager, is absolutely desperate. His bullpen is a sieve. It's awful. He's afraid to go to it. So he pushed Snell to over 120 pitches. Never. You just don't do that with Snell. Snell's the same guy a couple of postseasons ago when he was with, I forget what team he was with. He's bounced around so much. He was taken out like in the 5th or 6th inning, and he was pitching great. But they pushed, it was when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays. And they took him out, and Kevin Cash defended it because that's what the analytics said. Don't push him. Don't make him go third time through the order. Dave Roberts stayed over 120 pitches with him, which is unbelievable. Now, he's gone a complete game twice with Yamamoto, and he's going to have to do that again. For the Blue Jays, it's Kevin Gausman, who pitched well until the 7th inning in the last game, but then kind of got shaky in the 7th inning, and that was enough. So we'll see exactly what happens here. The Blue Jays are less afraid to go to the bullpen. The Dodgers are petrified. But no matter how great Yamamoto pitches tonight, no matter how great he pitches, if they don't score, they're not going to win. And that doesn't, you don't have to be Abner Doubleday to figure that out. They're not going to win. The Dodgers offense has been dreadful. Do you know that in the last 8 games of the postseason, including the 18-inning game, they've scored 28 runs in 8 games. 28 runs. The Dodgers, through 5 games of the World Series, hitting .201 as a team, and their OPS is .651. Not good enough. Since the 18-inning win that ended with Freddie Freeman's walk-off home run, they are 10 for 61 as a team. That's 164. 8 singles out of those 10 hits, and an OPS, an anemic .465. Unbelievable. Mookie Betts is 3 for 23. Max Muncy, 3 for 20 in the World Series. Tommy Edmonds is 3 for 21. They're just not getting it done. They're just not getting it done. So Yamamoto could pitch as well as he wants to. If the Dodgers don't score, they're not going to win. It's been a good World Series so far. I saw the other day a fascinating stat to me. I don't know if you guys saw this, but in the 18th inning, right? The 18th inning of that classic Game 3, there were 8 million people in the United States viewing that game. 8 million people. That was at 7 minutes to 3. Think about that. Most of the East Coast, all of the East Coast is sleeping except for me and some people on our staff. That's it. 8 million people. Now, Game 5, where the Blue Jays won that game, I saw the ratings for that. It was like, I'm rounding off now, 11.5 million in the United States. And you go, that's not that great. But there were over 11 million people viewing in Canada. So in North America, Game 5 drew over 22 million people. And you can't say, well, you can't combine Canada. Well, listen, you're losing the Blue Jay market because they can't watch Fox. They can only watch it on the sports network in Toronto. So you would say, okay, if it wasn't the Blue Jays, and let's say it was the Yankees and the Dodgers again, I don't know if it'd be 22, but it might be 18 or 19. So, reports of baseball's death, highly exaggerated. It's still a very popular sport. It's extraordinarily popular regionally. Each region loves their team. We gave you these stats a couple of weeks ago. Yes, had an unbelievable year for ratings. It was up over 5% over a World Series year the year before. A lot of people watch regional sports baseball. Maybe nationally, it hasn't been as attractive as other, well, not other sports, football. But you compare baseball's ratings to the NBA ratings and the NHL ratings, baseball still beats them. They still beat a great NBA Finals. A great World Series will beat a great NBA Finals. And NBA got all of this money in the new television deal. I wonder what baseball is going to get in 2 years when all of their deals are up. Speaking of the NBA, Knicks and the Bulls tonight. Knicks are 2-2. The Bulls off to a great start, 4-0. The Knicks are 24th in offense, 7th in defense, so it's flip-flop from last year. Mitchell Robinson, who's been out with left ankle management, I think it's nonsense. There's no way that you miss the first 4 games of the season unless there's been some sort of setback. He played 3 preseason games, and then since the third one, he's out with left ankle management. And they say, well, there's been no setback. I say, I don't believe you, but he is going to play tonight in all likelihood. And Deuce McBride, who had left the team for 2 games for personal matters with his family, he's going to return. But this is a Knick offense that's still finding its way. And, Mike Brown, the head coach, said it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time, a month and a half before we really see what's going on. I wonder how long it's going to take with Karl Anthony Towns. He's not a guy that you should be dictating pace to. Also, if they turn into a 3-point shooting team, I don't know if they have the guns for that. I really don't. 1-800-919-3776. The Giants and the 49ers, they'll play on Sunday. The Jets have a bye week. The Giants are 2.5-point underdogs to the 49ers. That's coming off their 38-20 loss to Philly. 49ers have not played well. Nick Bosa's out. Fred Warner's out for the whole year. They have a great runner in McCaffrey, and we'll see how the Giants can stop McCaffrey because they could not stop Saquon Barkley. That's an interesting game. We'll get a little bit more into it a little bit later on. 1-800-919-3776. It's time for the co-host. You know I love you. I really do. And we'll start it off with Greg. He's in the work truck. Hello, Greg.
How's it going, Michael? How are you on this Friday?
All good. How about you?
Mostly spectacular. Before I get to my point, I want to thank you for something. Recently, I had emergency surgery, and since then, I've been in recovery, and I've been listening to you nonstop, and you're getting me through this, my man.
Oh, thank you. I hope you're okay, my friend.
I'm doing well. Listen,
Good.
There's two things I want to talk to you about. One, I slightly disagree with your candy take from the, the pool that you did earlier in the week, the Halloween draft.
Fantasy draft, yep.
The only thing I would exchange, really, Crunch, Junior Mints, and Milk Duds, I'm on board. I can't get on board with Mounds. It's Reese's all day, my man.
Well, you know what? Listen, I like Reese's, but I got to be honest. I didn't have the chance to pick them, but I'm going to tell you the truth, Greg. I would not have picked Reese's. I mean, Reese's are good, but Mounds are. Have you had Mounds? Coconut and chocolate. It's delightful, Greg.
I'm just more of a Reese's fan. I don't mind Mounds. I'm just more of a Reese's man.
Okay. Now you want to say something about the Giants?
Yeah, I have no problem with the Giants' offense. I really don't. It's their defense that bothers me. Even when fully healthy, I have a lot of questions for their defensive coordinator as well as their defensive strategies and their play calling. It looks like they're just purely incompetent at some points. Not taking away anything from Burns or Dexter Lawrence or Kayvon, but they don't ever stop anything. They don't commit turnovers or anything, and I fear that's why they might lose on Sunday. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, I can't argue with you, especially coming off the fourth quarter against the Broncos. Their defense was awful. Their defense was terrible against the Eagles, but they have played some decent games defensively as well. Their defense wasn't good against the Cowboys. So, yeah, they've given up a lot of points. Now, they've got some injuries in the secondary. You have to give them that. They haven't been getting to the quarterback as much as we would like, and they don't stop the run as well. So it's hard for me to argue with you, Greg. It has not been good defensively. There's no way to argue with it. Let's go to John and Chatham. John.
The Halloween candy? Oh, my God. No turtles or Baby Ruth and all the host picks?
Well, I would not have gone with turtles, but you know what? Baby Ruth is a glaring omission, John. Glaring.
And
You're right.
And I'm disappointed in the big fella. He looks like he indulged in a chocolate bar now and then. He's picking Skittles? Come on.
That, you know what? That's an excellent point, John. And the big fella he's talking about is Chris Carlin. And, that was the last pick of the draft, too. But he had Baby Ruth available if he wanted to, and he didn't go that route. He went with Twizzlers. That was the last pick in the draft. They had the first pick, and then they had the last pick in the fourth round. And Carlin and Bart went Reese's, Hunter Grand, Butterfinger, and Twizzlers. A little odd, but Twizzlers, it's hard to argue with Twizzlers. Let's go to Dave in the car. David.
Hey, what's up, Michael? Sorry if I'm not leaning into the Halloween candy
That's
bit,
okay.
but I have a question about Towns. I'm really concerned about him, and here's why. I watched Giannis dominate the other night, right? They asked Giannis a year ago, how's that knee that you banged up in the championship? How is playing on that knee? And Giannis said, it hurts me every time I play. Some nights it's excruciating, some nights it isn't. He's still a dominant player. All summer I watched Wembyana working out with Akeem Olajuwon. And I'm looking at Towns, I'm looking at his body and his conditioning. I'm looking at how he has these ebbs and flows. And I also know that he's a party guy between here and New Jersey. That I do know. Fine. But is this guy should be dominating the Eastern Conference behind Giannis. He's not in the West where there are highly skilled forwards or swingmen. There's no room for him to have any more ebbs and flows if the Knicks are really going to go for a championship.
Do you kind of see him as some... Let me stop you for 1 second because I want to see your take on this. He finished third team All-NBA last year. He didn't have a bad year. He had a really good year. You're talking about the first 4 games? I agree. He's not in great condition.
That is so, but the thing is, Michael, it's so noticeable. And to see a guy as freakish as Wembyana, in shape as him, working out with Akeem Olajuwon, and just coming into the first 4 games, stomping on everybody, like that's what the Knicks need from Towns. There's no wiggle room to come in. I got to work my way into shape. You're supposed to be conditioned year-round.
You know what? I can't argue with you about that, but I am going to give him a little bit of a pass, and we'll talk with Frank Isola about this as well. He's in a new system, to me, that doesn't benefit him. It just doesn't benefit him. I mean, they're trying to go with pace. He's lumbering down the court. He's never been a physical specimen. It's his size and his 3-point shooting ability. You know, he's a freakish 3-point shooter for a man that size. But I got to tell you, they're doing him no favors with this new offense. They're just not. They're just not. Let's go to Rashad in the Bronx. Rashad.
Hey, Mike. Good afternoon.
How you doing, Rashad?
I'm doing well. Doing
Good.
well. All right. So I heard you talking about the Dodgers. I want to make a Knicks point real quick after this.
Sure.
Are you talking about the Dodgers offense and how awful it was? To put it into context, I actually seen a stat earlier this morning that Volpe has a better OPS than the Dodgers do in the World Series.
Yes.
The
Dodgers OPS in the World Series is 651.
Yeah, and Volpe's was like 680, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's put in the context how awful the offense has been.
Yeah, it's been terrible.
And yeah, it's been awful. And then in terms of the Knicks, yeah. So yeah, the thing about Towns, like Towns, I'm not. I like Towns a lot, but he has. This is an opportunity. He has to seize the opportunity. He can't be coming into the season out of shape. He can't. This is a huge opportunity. We can't miss this opportunity to dominate the East.
Well, listen, I'm not going to freak out. You know, I said this last year, too, and a lot of people got mad at me. Well, yeah, we have to evaluate things on a game-to-game basis. Cool. You want to play that game, that's all right. They're 2-2. And they have a new coach, and they're installing a new system. It was not going to be easy. No one thought it was going to be easy. Everybody thought it was going to be a work in progress. That's exactly what it is, a work in progress. So we've got to be patient. They decided to bang a coach that brought them to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 wins away from the finals. And I've said this before, I will give Mike Brown the time, just like I'm giving Aaron Glenn the time. But if you don't get to at least Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, it's a fail. It's an epic fail. If you get knocked out before the Eastern Conference Finals, it's a fail like we can't even articulate. It's unacceptable. I just wonder why they're trying to change an offense that was 5th in efficiency last year and is 24th this year. Now, I know why they want to change the defense. Defense was in the 20s. It's 7th after 4 games. But I'd like to ask everybody one thing. Who plays defense in the NBA? You play defense in spurts. Who plays defense in the NBA? And it's hard to play defense in the NBA. If you took a look at what Antetokounmpo did the other day, he was allowed to take 5 steps without dribbling. You try playing defense that way. You try it. All right, so we did a YouTube poll, and we asked people if they like the beard, which makes me look like CNN's Wolf Blitzer. 60% said they like it. 40% said they don't. I'm surprised that 60% like it. And my wife, okay, we've been married for about 13 years, right? No, 14 years. She never, ever comments, good or bad, about how I look. I mean, maybe it's just total lack of interest. Maybe she's done with me, and you know she knows what I look like. It's not going to get any better. Probably going to get worse as I age. She turned to me the other day out of the blue. This is so un-Jody-like, by the way. Out of the blue, she goes, you know what? I didn't think I'd like the beard. I think it looks great. I mean, for her, that's a rave. A rave. Also made me think, I don't know, what's her agenda here? Does she like the fact that it makes me look older and that nobody would even give me a second look? I don't think she cares about that either. So it's hard for me to figure out. So 60% of our YouTube audience likes it. 40% doesn't. We'll keep the poll up for the entire show because maybe it'll change by Monday. Because if enough people say they don't like it, I might shave. And I liked it until I took a look at myself on camera and I saw the way I looked, and I didn't like the way I looked. Because I'm 64, I'm not 74, I'm not 84. I shouldn't look this old. And my beard is entirely white. Somebody who does some work around the house for us, he came up to me yesterday and said, you growing the beard to play Santa Claus for Christmas? I mean, that was a kick in the cubes like you wouldn't believe. Hurt. It hurt. So I've got some thinking to do over the week. I'm going to keep it until at least through Sunday because I'm going to go to the Giants 49ers game with my family. And, the extra warmth on the face is going to be nice. And also maybe no one would recognize me. And so they don't come up to me and they go, ooh, you stink, you're a big head, you're a freak, I hate you. This way, nothing. Anyway, when we come back, Frank Isola, the great Frank Isola. But before we do that, I need to tell you something. It's important. YouTube TV. All you YouTube TV customers, get the sports you love on ESPN. Get them back, including college football, college game day, Monday Night Football, NBA, college basketball, and more. So act now. Go to keepmynetworks.com to get ESPN back. Right now, it's not on YouTube TV. So you're not going to see all the games, the college football games. You're not going to see basketball, Monday Night Football, everything, all the great things, all the great shows on ESPN. You're not getting it if you're a YouTube TV customer. So just go to keepmynetworks.com to get ESPN back. We'll talk some more Knicks with Frank Isola. That's coming up in just a moment right here on ESPN New York.
Friday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Will the Knicks get back on track in Chicago? Can Jackson Dart and the Giants find a way to upset the 49ers?
He is uber talented. I understand why Dayball went to the blue tent. I probably would have went too. I mean, kid's good, man. He's a really, really, really good kid. I think New York hit on this one big time.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Shop new fall offers at Bay Ridge Mazda. Lease a 2025 Mazda CX-30S for as low as $199 per month or finance for 2.9% APR for 36 months. Or the 2025 Mazda CX-5S for as low as $229 per month or finance for 2.9% APR for 36 months. Plus, enjoy 1 year of complimentary Bay Ridge Plus benefits like ding and dent coverage, key replacement, windshield protection, and roadside assistance. Visit them in Brooklyn or online at BayRidgeMazda.com. Bay Ridge Mazda, where confidence comes standard. See dealer for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Let me tell you about my friends at Bathfitter. They remodeled the bath by my pool. They converted a tub into a shower. The result is amazing. Bathfitter offers all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit. It's done in 1 day, easy to clean, and durable with no demo or mess, and it costs less than a standard replacement, plus a lifetime guarantee. Right now, you get no money down, no payments or interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bathfitter.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-30 2.5S all-wheel drive for $159 for 33 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. VIN SM841631, MSRP $26,980, 0 security deposit, and 1031.25.
All the way over Barzell scores! New York Islanders hockey is back at UBS Arena, and it's time to bring the family and make some noise. With more afternoon games this season, the Islanders have special kids-themed games and activities for young fans. Play games pregame at the park and head inside for fun on the concourse and on the ice. Tickets for the 2025-26 season are on sale now. Get your tickets at NewYorkIslanders.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Tire care shouldn't come with extra costs or surprise fees. It should be simple, straightforward, and stress-free. So at Midas, they're rolling out the limited lifetime tire guarantee, included with every tire purchase with paid installation. You'll pay nothing for flat repairs, nada for flat replacements, zilch for tire rotations every 5,000 miles, and zero for other preventative maintenance. So with this limited lifetime tire guarantee, you'll pay a whole lot of nothing compared to what the other guys charge for tire care. That's the limited lifetime tire guarantee, only at Midas.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the weather first, before wearing face paint to the game.
Bro, your Go Cats is dripping into your nachos.
Oh, and now paint is in my eyes.
Interception! Did you see that?
No!
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Welcome back to the Michael K. Show on Halloween. Knicks and the Bulls tonight in Chicago. Knicks have lost 2 in a row. The Bulls have lost to a great start, 4-0. The Knicks' offense is 24th. Their defense through 4 games is 7th. So it's a flip-flop of last year. And now we bring in a guy I respect so much. He's a good friend for a long, long time. And he does set me straight on basketball. He has the info. And he tells me what I should know. And that is the great Frank Isola. He works for the Yes Network on the Net broadcast and has his own radio show on Sirius XM with Brian Scalabrine, and he joins us now. Hello, Frank. How you doing?
Mike, how you been? Great job in the studio during the playoffs. I love those post-game shows, win or lose. It's always really entertaining, really informative. I love those shows. Wish it would have gone a little bit longer. A
lot of people do. I know. And I am too. You're a fan of Thibodeau. And you kind of look down your nose at those that talk about minutes police and all that. But they made the change to Mike Brown. And my question is, Mike Brown seems to be trying to fix the offense. The offense last year was 5th under Thibodeau. Their defense needs to be fixed. But I look at it this way, Frank. I wonder if you agree. Who plays defense in the NBA that it's that important that you're going to sacrifice offense to improve your defense? Your thoughts on what you've seen so far in the 4 games with the Knicks?
Yeah, the coaches always say, I could take a good offensive player, make him into a good defensive player. It's much harder to do it the other way around. I think, the one big issue, and I think Knicks fans talk about all the time, having a ball-dominant point guard like, Jalen Brunson. Everybody talks about running. Well, he's not Tyrese Halliburton. He's a different kind of player. So when you're talking about Brunson, you got to really compare him to guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, James Harden. That's really what the strength of the team is. And the strength of the team is also, a two-man game with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. The Towns thing is a little weird. I think, he seems to be a little down. Maybe that had something to do with his name. When people started talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think Karl is pretty smart. He knows that the only way they'd be able to really make a trade with the Knicks is if he were involved. I do find it kind of interesting that he had a really poor game against Giannis and the Bucks the other night. So I think, they're going to need, if you're going to be a championship team, you're going to need Towns. The guy did go to the conference finals in back-to-back years, once in the Western Conference with Minnesota, obviously last year with the New York Knicks. The guy's a tremendously talented player. I think he and the coach got way too much of the blame when the team lost last season. Obviously, the coach lost his job, and Karl kind of became the Patrick Ewing of, everyone's looking at him saying, you're the reason we lost. So I think he's probably still a little stung by that.
All right, but they're changing an offense, and they use the word pace, and it seems like they're taking more three-point shots. And my question with that, and you alluded to it with Brunson. Brunson is an isolation guy. He backs in, uses angles and stuff like that, uses his strength. Even though he's not tall, he's really strong. Aren't you taking away what these two guys do well? Because I don't think Karl Anthony Towns can run the floor the way Mike Brown wants the team to run the floor. So you're almost weakening two of your your two most important players.
No, I think you're right, and I think a lot of it has to do with the way the season ended. After they beat Boston in 6 games, how many people were sitting around and saying, they really need to change the offense. It's not working the way that they do it. They ended up losing to Indiana, and Indiana was a freaky athletic team that loved to run. The teams with the 2 best records after January 1st last year were Oklahoma City and Indiana. I still don't feel like the Knicks fan, and maybe even the Knicks organization, gave Indiana the respect it deserved. It smoked Giannis and the Bucks in the first round, smoked the 64-win Cavs in the second round, beat the Knicks in the third round. Then we're up at halftime in Game 7 of the NBA Finals against the best team in the league, and Halliburton was hurt. Blew out his Achilles in the first 7 minutes. So I think it's to me it seems to be an overreaction. Remember, Mike, when they played Indiana averaged 116 points in that series. The Knicks averaged 115 points. So it wasn't like Indiana's offense was lights out and like the Knicks just couldn't keep up. I mean, it was a miracle shot in Game 1 by Halliburton, and then of course Indiana kind of blew them out in that final game, Game 6. But the two teams were a lot closer, I think, than the reaction to losing was. And again, I think you're right. And I think if I'm Mike Brown, you don't really have to change that much. The team was successful, and I think, you hope that they added a better bench because that was the big issue last year. The guys that people wanted Tom to play, including the front office, 3 of those guys aren't even in the league anymore.
Yep.
So clearly there was an upgrade with the bench. But I think sometimes that happens when the new coach comes in, but it all goes back to, and I said it at the time, the Knicks treated last season like it was a failure. It wasn't a failure. There were just some tweaks that need to be made. And, Mike Brown's smart enough where he'll know how to do that. I just don't think he needs to get that, too dramatic in changing things because, to your point, Brunson is what he is at this point, and the strength of the team is a ball-dominant point guard.
And also, if you're going to accentuate three-point shooting, right, there are certain lineups, like with Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart in that lineup, that if you're accentuating three-point shooting, then it's 3 on 5 because those two guys are not great three-point shooters, and that allows the other team to double up your best three-point shooter. So I'm not quite sure their thought process there.
Yeah, I think you're right, and, I guess there's a chance Robinson's going to play tonight. Remember something else about Hart. Everyone talks about, the Knicks and ball movement. Look how many assists Josh Hart averaged last season. He's not averaging that many assists if there weren't times that Jalen Brunson was playing off the ball. And what the Knicks like to do, a lot of times Hart was being guarded by the opposing team center. So that allowed Hart to get on the perimeter, kind of, drive and kick and do things like that. So there were plenty of times last season when he was off the ball. But you're right, it's hard to have – listen, the most dangerous three-point shooter they have on the team is Karl Anthony Towns.
Right.
Because, he can knock down that shot. You can make the case he's the greatest shooting big man, three-point shooting big man of all time, but you're going to guard him with a big, which opens up the floor for everybody else.
Do you think, just from watching, because I'm getting the sense, that Karl Anthony Towns is not in the best shape?
I think there's a little bit of that. I think also, when you had, 2 long seasons like he had going to the conference finals, maybe that impacts you a little bit. When you play in New York, everybody becomes a big celebrity, so you're over in Paris at, Fashion Week and things like that. The one thing about Karl, when you watch him run, he's got really big feet. And, he has been bothered by knee issues in the past. So, you're asking like a big guy to get up and down the court. And last year he did a great job. He played 72 games. And I think for a lot of these guys, and I think it's only natural for it to happen with some players and occasionally with some teams, when they've had the success that they had and they went deep into the playoffs, they kind of almost used the regular season, or at least like the first month, maybe even 2 months, to kind of work their way into it. I even think Cleveland is a little bit like that. Cleveland won 64 games last season. That means they went 64-18. They've already lost a couple of games this season, and they got guys banged up, and they don't seem to be – there's no sense of urgency from Cleveland. I don't know if that's the right way to go about it, but they won 64 games last year, and they got knocked out in 5 in the playoffs.
Talking with Frank Isola of the Yes Network and Sirius XM as well. Now, it's kind of an old story at this point, but to me it has not been resolved, and I know you have a lot of sources within the NBA. So who got Thibodeau fired? Was it Dolan? Was it Rose? Was it players who didn't stand up for him? Why was he let go?
Yeah, I don't. It's one of those things where I'm not sure it's probably a combination of all those things. And again, I think a lot of it starts with the Knicks not really having the amount of respect for the Indiana Pacers that they should have had. I mean, if you knock off Boston, the defending champs, in the second round, you would think that would be enough for the coach to keep his job. But then they lost to Indiana. Everyone said, well, how can you lose to Indiana? Well, Indiana happened to be a really good team. And, the Knicks hadn't been to a conference finals in 25 years. You would think it would be something where they would look and say, you know what? We're on the right path here. Let's keep this thing together. I think it was a complete overreaction, I think, by the owner, who the reports were that he sat in on the player meetings. So when you're sitting in on the player meetings and you say to a player, what could Tom do better? And then the player gives you an answer, they could always go back and say, well, the player said this about him. I almost think in a way the players were a little bit. If you're being asked questions specifically about the coach, obviously the owner is there, so you know kind of which way they're thinking. It's not the coach that's in the meetings, it's the owner and the GM. So what do you think they're going to say? I have no problem with the coach, but I think our front office and our ownership could really get a lot better. That's not going to be what they say. So I think that Jim Dolan, overreacted. I don't think that Leon Rose was going to say, heck no one, over my dead body, you're firing Tom Thibodeau. And the next thing you know, they were making a change 48 hours after getting eliminated in the conference finals.
Now, strangely, what I've heard, the whispers I've heard, and, he's even come out and said it too, that, Brunson said, I don't get involved with those decisions. I don't want them to ask me about it. But you would think that if Brunson stood up and said, this is not going to happen, that it might not have happened. I wonder if he even said a word about it.
Yeah, I think there are certain players that are going to be uncomfortable doing that. Does it necessarily mean they didn't want it to be the coach? I'm not so sure about that. I think in the case of Ewing, I think when there were discussions about replacing Jeff Van Gundy, I think Patrick really went to bat for Jeff Van Gundy. The same thing I think happened in Denver. Did Nikola Jokic have a problem with Michael Malone? Maybe their relationship had changed a little bit, but I don't think that he went marching in there to say, we need to get rid of the coach. But when they decided we're going to make a coaching change, I think Nikola Jokic looked at it as, you know what? You guys run that, I'll do my job. And I have a funny feeling that Jalen Brunson probably treated it the same way.
Do you believe, Frank, that Thibodeau's going to get another job coaching?
It's interesting. Sometimes it's hard. I mean, the ageism sometimes factors into things with these jobs. But I think there weren't as many jobs available last year. I think there'll be a lot more available this year. It only takes one team to do it. I know this. He definitely wants to coach again. I saw him. We went to Minnesota. The radio show did to hang out with the Timberwolves, and he was actually there watching their practices. So, you look at just look at his behavior since training camp started. He's been to college practices. He's been to NBA practices. He's not doing that just because he loves the sport. He's doing it because he wants to get back into it. He's definitely following it. I mean, did you see last night this kid Ryan Rollins had 32 points for Milwaukee? Mm-hmm. So when we were in Minnesota, he was, he said, where are you guys going next? I said, we're going to Milwaukee. He said, wait till you see this kid Ryan Rollins. This kid's big time. And I said, I don't even know who you're talking about. I thought he was talking about Ryan Hollins. I said, Tom, I think that guy's out of the league. He said, no. He's like, no, you idiot, Ryan Rollins. The kid's really good. I said, all right. And the kid in consecutive games had his career high 28 against the Knicks, and then he had 32 last night against the Warriors. So Tom is pretty plugged in, even when it comes to kind of like obscure, players that have bounced around to three different G League teams.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot before we let you go. I'm going to give you a number. I'm going to say 17.5. Over under for net wins.
Oh, I think right now, after watching the first 5 games, 2 they could have had. I'm going to put the under on that, and I'm telling you, it's eating Jordy Fernandez alive because Jordy is one of the most competitive guys you're going to find. Like when you had to hear him after the Houston game. Houston they're going to outclass the Nets with all the talent they have, including Kevin Durant. And he was, basically saying, if don't take NBA games for granted. Like you got to come out here and you got to compete. You have to want to win. Like he doesn't do we don't have as much talent and. We're trying to get a high lottery pick. He doesn't look at it like that. The dude is like ultra, ultra competitive. That's why I wasn't surprised what they did the other night against the Atlanta Hawks because they laid an egg against Houston. You knew the team was going to come out and fight, but just look on the court every night. In the NBA, a lot of times it comes down to talent. It's almost going to, take almost a perfect effort for the Nets to win. They're going to have to catch some breaks. I thought at the beginning of the season I thought they can get to 20, and now I don't know, 17.5. I think they might be under that.
Good stuff. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
I like M&Ms. I like Twizzlers, but not the Halloween Twizzlers. I like the big ones that come in the big pack.
Now, do you go M&Ms or M&M peanut?
No, I used to. I like the plan. Can I ask you one quick baseball thing?
Yes.
Were you at the '93 World Series when Carter hit the home run?
I was not, because I was already a broadcaster then.
I thought you were a big shot back then. That was like one of the first. Back in the day, the newspapers, we used to send like 3 and 4 people to these games. I remember being at that game. It's hard. I heard you guys talk about it in the update. It's like 32 years.
I give credit, Frank, to the Post. Of all the major papers in the country, they have 3 people at the World Series. Boston Globe has 1.
Yeah, I mean, listen, am I somewhat biased towards you? Yeah, but I do like you. But I think one of the reasons you're really good at radio is because you cover, like when you work for a newspaper, like it's not just always fire this guy, fire that guy, and cut this guy. There's like a different way. I think you have a more level-headed approach. And I think it's a shame that it doesn't seem like as many people read the newspapers anymore, because the guys that you're talking about at the Post, I mean, think about how experienced those guys are at covering baseball. It's going to be pretty extensive, the job that they're doing.
Yeah. By the way, the last game I ever covered as a writer was Game 7 in 1991, the Jack Morris game.
The Jack Morris game.
Yeah. And I remember I was working for the news, and I sent in, Frank, a 2,500-word game story, of which 1,000 words made the paper. They just cut it at the bottom.
So I remember being on the field. I don't know if it was before that game, but you and Bob Ryan were talking. And, Bob Ryan is still incredibly passionate today. I remember him. He was going off on something like the time. I think he was discussing the time of games, believe it or not, back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was you were just laughing. I mean, it was doing the baseball playoffs, and the playoffs this year have been so good. I mean, how about the performance by Ohtani? I don't think it got the attention it really deserved.
It got it on Fox.
And 3 home runs.
It got the attention on Fox.
I know, but come on, Mike. That's a freak show.
I agree. And you know what? If I'm running Fox, that's the thing that's going to drive ratings. That guy. He's going to bring in the peripheral eyeballs. So yeah, I would push it too. I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people seem like they do.
Do you believe the kid Cam Schlittler is the real deal?
Yes, if he stays healthy. I always worry about guys staying healthy, but the way he throws, yeah, I think he's the real deal.
I was on PTI the next day, and the only thing I was worried about was making sure I said his name right.
Oh, it's a bear. Every 5 days, you know your career could end.
I know.
Ruocco actually slipped once and said it the wrong way. Took an L out, which you can't.
I know.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
I know. Not everyone could be named Joe Johnson.
Yeah.
Not that easy.
Happy Halloween, Frank. Thanks for coming on.
Same to you, Mike. Good catching up.
All right.
Keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you. That's Frank Isola. Yes Network, pre- and post-game show on the Nets, and then his own show in the mornings on Sirius XM on basketball. Hey, right now, Bay Ridge Honda, fall into savings with unstoppable savings across their full lineup of Honda cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and EVs during the Fall for Honda sales event. You can get the HR-V all-wheel drive LX for $299 a month with 0 down during the Fall for Honda sales event. Plus, receive thousands in benefits and savings with their Bay Ridge Plus Advantage plan. Upfront pricing, total peace of mind. Visit BayRidgeHonda.com. 39-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 0 down plus tax, tag, and fees. See dealer for details.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Okay, girls, ready to go?
Yeah! Mom, I'm hungry. Can I have a snack? Me too, Mommy.
You want a snack?
Yeah!
Got it?
Children learn from our behaviors. Mommy, can you open this,
All right, hold on 1 second. Okay, here.
Thank you.
They learn what is okay from the adults they see.
Mommy, are you on your phone?
If you're a distracted driver, chances are they will be too. What kind of driver are you raising? Funded by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry.
With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles. Rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, all veterans, active duty, and their families can become members and enjoy exclusive benefits. With the Cash Rewards and Cash Rewards Plus cards, you can earn a $250 cash bonus when you spend $2,500 in the first 90 days. Plus, you can earn up to 2% unlimited cash back. Offer ends January 1st, 2026. Join now at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Cashback terms and conditions apply. Visit NavyFederal.org/cash rewards for more information.
Lowe's knows that free makes everything better. That's why our rewards members get free standard shipping on the things they want and need to get the job done every day. Savings for rewards members add up fast, so why wait? Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans.
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team. Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
Oh, Game Time. Yeah, Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m., the Islanders are in Washington to play the Caps. 8 p.m., the Knicks are in Chicago to play the Bulls in a big NBA Cup group play game. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. right here on 880 ESPN. And then at 8 p.m., it's Game 6 of the World Series in Toronto as the Blue Jays try to close out the Dodgers. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. on 1050 ESPN New York. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. I want to send out birthday wishes to Lonnie from Harlem. I didn't even know it was his birthday. I saw that Rick sent out a birthday wish to him. So Lonnie's a great listener to the show. Happy birthday from your unc. Lonnie, a great listener to the station, has been for a long time. So happy birthday, my friend. Let's go to Fred in the Bronx. Fred.
Good afternoon, Michael. Happy Halloween.
Same to you, Fred. What's up?
I like your first two picks. I think Crunch is more of a first-round pick. I'm surprised you got it in the second. Mounds, somebody was criticizing Mounds. Mounds is a solid pick.
Thank you.
What I was very surprised about, and correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't heard Three Musketeers mentioned at all. Did anyone take Three Musketeers anywhere?
How about this, Fred? No Three Musketeers and no Baby Ruth, which is surprising. Wow. Now, I love Baby Ruth, and I'm going to be honest with you. I've never been a big fan of Three Musketeers, but I can't believe it's not one of the 16 picks.
And again, it's not necessarily what you like. It's what you think would be the most popular. Correct?
I don't. You know what? They kind of said pick the things that you like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I want to add one baseball thing.
Okay.
I'm just going to make a comment, and then I'll listen to your opinion on it. Ohtani plays an 18-inning game. He's on the base paths 9 times, running back and forth. The game is over. He's got to pitch 18 hours later. Maybe you don't have him hit that game, and he's got a little more in the tank to pitch just for that game. I don't know. What do you think?
You know what? I think it's so much a part of what he is as a hitter. He's the leadoff hitter. I don't think that you don't have him hit. No, I think that would be cutting off your nose to spite your face. The interesting thing, so the game ended, and then the next game started 18 hours later. I read something that this guy actually is a sleep maniac. Like, he sleeps 12 hours a day. So his entire thing was disrupted by that 18-inning game. If you saw the interview that they had on the field, I think it was Verducci who did it. You know, they gave 1- and 2-word answers, and then at the end he said, I just want to go to bed. So this guy is a creature of habit, and his habit was disrupted by that 18-inning game. Now, it's hard to say that, you know, he got hit hard. He pitched very well for 6 innings. Then he pitched the 7th inning. He hadn't pitched in the 7th inning for almost 2 years. I think that's what got him more than anything. Let's go to Spike in St. Pete. Spike.
Good to hear you, Michael. I want to go on the coattails of Frankie Isola. Chicago's an interesting team with Billy Donovan, who, obviously I saw him play in high school and then played for Patino up at Providence, I believe. And he's a defensive coach. They're 4-0. They've beaten Detroit, Orlando, Atlanta, and I think Sacramento, who, by the way, Sacramento, first time I've ever seen it. You know my age and background. Sacramento started 5 guys, all 30 years old and older. That's amazing.
Well, they're not rebuilding.
Yeah, well, he's probably on the back end of those contracts. But they never get hurt. DeMar DeRozan and guys like that. And Sabonis is going to be 30, and the other two, they are. So I got on with Alan, and I'm trying to spread my basketball knowledge around to you guys. And Alan and you are the basketball guys on the station, in my opinion. Not, casting aspersions on anybody else. But what I noticed with Mike Brown, it's 4 games. And he's a smart guy. He's a nice guy. He's not as personality-wise as, let's say, as a hard ass, if you could say that, as Thibodeau is. I thought Tom was unjustifiably fired. But they got Mike Brown. He coached of the year twice, but within 2 years he was fired in both teams. That's the nature of the game. I thought he made 0 adjustments in the third quarter. Now, I go back so long. Red Auerbach used to kill you after the timeout and the halftime and make adjustments and blow you out in the first 5 minutes of the second half. There were lapses by both teams, mostly the Knicks, in the first 6 minutes, before the timeout in the second half. Knicks went in with a 15-point lead and with whatever lead. Towns never should have played. If you're going to take one shot in the first half with arguably your second-best scorer, you shouldn't be in the game.
And you know what's interesting about that, too? He took the one shot, and they played very well in the first half. And then it seemed like they said, well, he's got to shoot more. And then he shot more, and he was awful in the second half. I don't think that Brown's going to make that many adjustments. He wants his team to grow into this system. He just does. And that's the way he's looking at it. So I don't think you're going to see any grand X's and O's adjustments. They'll do some of it, but the bottom line is he wants them to learn to play the way he wants them to play. ESPN New York, giving you the chance to experience UFC 322 at Madison Square Garden on November 15th. One grand prize winner and a guest will score tickets to the ESPN New York suite hosted by Peter Rosenberg. Now enjoy the energy of the Garden, the comfort of a private suite with great chicken fingers that'll make you weep, and world-class UFC action alongside one of New York's biggest sports personalities. Yeah, we're talking about Peter. To enter, find the contest tile on the ESPN New York app to submit your entry. It's brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of UFC. When we come back, we go live to Toronto. Buster Olney will join us. He's going to be part of the radio broadcast of tonight's Game 6 of the World Series. Hey, shop new fall offers at Bay Ridge Mazda. Lease the 2025 Mazda CX-30S for as low as $199 per month, or finance for 2.9% APR for 36 months, or the 2025 Mazda CX-5S for as low as $229 per month, or finance for 2.9% APR for 36 months. Plus, enjoy 1 year of complimentary Bay Ridge Plus benefits like ding and dent coverage, key replacement, windshield protection, and roadside assistance. Visit them in Brooklyn or online at BayRidgeMazda.com. Bay Ridge Mazda, where confidence comes standard. See dealer for details.
Hey, this is Mika Zibanejad.
Hey, this is Adam Fox. Catch every Rangers game right here on 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
There he goes to the 20, 10, 5. That's a Jet touchdown. That's a Jet touchdown.
Jets fans, be there at MetLife Stadium to see the New York Jets take on the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m., presented by Verizon. Don't miss your chance to experience the excitement of game day at MetLife Stadium and cheer on your Jets. Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets and get ready to clear the runway.
Dave Rothenberg here to tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. Now, they converted my kids' bathtub to a shower and did an incredible, really an unbelievable job. They offer all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique...
Come to me. I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one, too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Hey, Doc, nice office. Quick question. If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll, no question.
Seriously? Well, have you run payroll before?
Paying my team with Gusto couldn't be easier. Gusto gives me unlimited payroll runs, next-day direct deposits, and automatically files my taxes. Saves me time.
Wow, that's nice.
Over here, Doc. Can I run payroll too?
Choose payroll without the pain. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hour 2 of our radio program. We lead you to 3 o'clock at Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. A little bit later on in the show, we'll have our 2-pack for sure. I've been red hot lately with 2 picks of the NFL. I've got 2 picks for Sunday, so stay tuned for that. But we have Game 6 of the World Series tonight, and you can hear it on 1050 ESPN. Boog Shambi will do the play-by-play, and part of the broadcast as well is our good buddy Buster Olney, who's nice enough to join us now. And Buster, I want to start off and say I am so jealous because you are right in the middle of what has been a really entertaining, fun World Series.
Yeah, no, look, Game 3, I'm standing there. As you know, you're getting ready to do the post-game interviews, and you're standing on the apron of the mound, apron of the field, waiting to go onto the field, do the interviews. And I go down there in the 8th inning, and, Magic Johnson is 15 feet from my right, and Sandy Koufax is sitting right in front of him. And you watch that craziness play out. It has been a phenomenal World Series. I think the ratings reflect that, too.
Yeah, I think the combination of the Canadian ratings and Fox, it's over 22 million people. So that is a big-time rating for World Series.
Yep, that's exactly right. And it feels that way, too, where you just have these great performances, whether it was Ohtani in the 18-inning game or, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been the best hitter I've ever seen in a postseason. Trey Savage the other day in his 8th major league start. To quote Aaron Boone, he's going to be a problem as they go forward. It's been phenomenal.
All right, so the Dodgers have their backs against the wall. They win, and they live to tell another day. They lose, and their season is over. And to make the lifting even heavier, they've got to win 2 games on the road. So when the Blue Jays did it, and they were down 3-2, they won 2 games in Toronto. Do you think the Dodgers have a chance for these 2 games?
I do. In fact, I still don't know how this series is going to turn out, which might sound funny because the Blue Jays have 3-2 going home. But first off, Yamamoto's pitching for them tonight. He's been so great. He's the first starting pitcher to have back-to-back complete games in a postseason since Curt Schilling in 2001. And in that first start he had in Game 2 of this series, 105 pitches, constantly getting ahead in the count with the quality stuff that got the Blue Jays to chase out of the zone. And if they tie the series tonight, look, then at that point, anything goes. And coincidentally, over the last 4 or 5 days, they had worked on a story that ran today on ESPN.com, talking to members of those 98 to 2000 Yankee teams that I covered, the last team to repeat. And they talked about the challenges of that moment because, when we look back at that team, it all seems like a nice, neat little box, 4 championships in 5 years, 5 World Series appearances. Because you were there for a lot of it. There were a lot of times when that group of players had their backs against the wall. And Paul O'Neill said something to me that really stuck with me. He said, look, in those big moments, you learn to trust the guys around you because you had been through so many of those big moments and you'd had success. And that's kind of what this Dodger team is. They have 883 combined postseason games for that roster and manager Dave Roberts, almost double what the Blue Jays have. And I do think there's a chance they pick themselves up.
Now, the thing that's, concerning to me, obviously, is their hitting, and that's the age-old question. Are they collectively in a slump, or is it Toronto's pitching? I mean, as great as Toronto's pitching is, and Yasavich has been otherworldly, they don't have a Yamamoto on their staff. Why are the Dodgers struggling so much offensively?
Yeah, and I think I'm going to give you a complicated answer. It's not just simply, it's a collective slump. I think, and I heard from a bunch of people during games 4 and 5, they felt like that the Dodgers, yes, they won the 18-inning Game 3, but they felt like it took a lot out of those players. Will Smith, the Dodgers catcher, caught all 18 innings of that game. They have an older roster than the Blue Jays do. And when you watch Smith take his swings in games 4 and 5, he looked gassed. Mookie Betts, who was more of a mechanical thing that he's trying to work through, up, no question. And, maybe the off day yesterday can help with that because it's real. I mean, there's a reason why you're seeing load management, throughout sports. They can measure those things. And I'm sure that whatever internal metrics the Dodgers have, probably for games 4 and 5 were not good for a group of older players having effectively played, 2 games over the course of 6 hours on Friday night.
All right, so maybe this is a leap because you look at the Dodgers, and when they lose, you definitely see the parts of their game that are not up to snuff. You could see them pushing Snell past 120, which is unheard of. Dave Roberts is petrified to go to his bullpen. Now, his bullpen was wonderful in the 18-inning game, but otherwise it's been terrible. And my question to you, this is an organization that is lauded for how smart it is and how ahead of the curve it is. How do you have a $400 million payroll and have a bullpen that's so bad?
So you could see this coming, Michael, because early in the year, as their starting pitching got injuries, look, we don't know because we don't have access to all the medical information. We don't know if those guys were actually hurt at the beginning of the year to the degree that they couldn't pitch. They're starting pitchers.
Right.
But the bottom line is that the Dodgers, the way they run their staff is they essentially give vacations to their starting pitchers during the course of the year and tell them, look, we want you ready for October, which I think is, that is a smart thing to do. But the cost of that this year was they leaned on that bullpen so hard early in the year. At the All-Star break, the Dodgers led all major league teams in bullpen innings. And as you know, that's typically, the team that leads that category is typically the Rockies or the White Sox or the worst teams, not the best team. And so I do think that with some of those guys, man, it was a case of absolute, they just were worn down, and we're seeing the price of that And you're right, the circle of trust for their bullpen right now is basically 2 or 3 guys. Roki Sasaki, Blake Trinan, and depending on the moment in the matchups, there are other guys that Dave might go to. But you're 100% right. Dave has been managing to avoid the bullpen as much as possible.
Now, I don't even think this is a big leap by me, but I truly believe that there's a Game 7. We're going to see Ohtani on the mound. Do you think that's a possibility?
100%. I think he will pitch in Game 7 if there's a Game 7. The question is, when do you do it? Which is why, Dave Roberts yesterday basically left everything on the table. Maybe he's an opener in front of Tyler Glasnow. Maybe he comes in as a closer. We know he can close based on what we saw in the WBC, which he finished off with that strikeout of Mike Trout.
Now, I'm wondering, because I'm not quite sure of this rule, because there's only a rule for this one man. If he comes in the 7th inning and then leaves, does he still remain as a DH?
My understanding is that he can't be the DH. He can't go back to being a DH. So if he's going to come out of the bullpen to finish the game, you're not going to bring him in and, a tie score in the 6th inning. You're going to bring him in where he's going to finish the game and be the closer. I think that's why there's talk of an opener. Look, Tyler Glasnow has experience coming out of the bullpen. We saw him do that early in this postseason. I think, the way that Dave is managing, where he's just trying to get as many outs out of this core group of elite pitchers as he can, and Ohtani being one of those, that it's absolutely on the table to have Ohtani come out, throw an inning, throw 2 innings, and then go to Glasnow in innings 3 or 4.
All right, we're talking with Buster Olney here on the Michael Kay Show. He's in Toronto tonight, Game 6. You could hear it on 1050 ESPN New York. So I brought this up after the 18-inning game where Ohtani was intentionally walked 4 times and then intentionally walked the 5th time. And I said that it's a great strategy by Snyder. I saw him employ it with Judge when they swept them in 4 games, which ended up being the tiebreaker for those 2 teams. Why doesn't baseball change the rule? This is the biggest stage that you can have. You want to sell your stars. No other sport says to their star. They don't tell Patrick Mahomes or LeBron James, you can't play, you can't touch the ball. Would baseball ever consider tweaking the rules and saying, okay, 1 intentional walk for every 1 batter, that's it?
Michael, I just don't think they could enforce it. Any kind of rule like that, quite simply because you can't make a pitcher throw a strike. So even if they were to say you can't, no more of the, put up 4 fingers, send the guy to first base, you actually have to throw the ball, then they would just throw the ball out of the strike zone. Whatever permeation you wanted to come up with, you can't compel a pitcher to throw the ball in the zone. And whether it was by issuing the intentional walk or by, purposefully throwing 4 pitches out of the zone, that's the strategy that they would stick with. So I like the sentiment, and I agree, and you want those guys to have the opportunities. You want Michael Jordan to take the last shot. You want Tom Brady to have an opportunity to throw the ball in a 2-minute drill, whatever it is. But in this case, I just don't think there's any way to force pitchers to throw strikes.
Now, one thing that I would counter with, and maybe I'm wrong, the 5th time they walked him, and yes, I was up the whole time, and I wasn't waiting to interview anybody. The 5th time they walked him, if Ohtani wanted to expand his strike zone, he could have swung at some of those pitches.
I got to be honest, I have not seen that plate appearance. I don't know how close they were. My sense is that the orders, as they did earlier in the game when Sir Anthony Dominguez went to the mound, they basically said, look, don't give him anything to hit. And then he threw a fastball right down the middle, and he hit the opposite field home run. So I suspect that's what they told him before that plate appearance. I was actually surprised the moment that they pitched to him. But just to put that number into context, by the way, about the intentional walks in that game and how crazy it is. So Ohtani got 4 intentional walks in that game. During the entire 2025 season, the New York Mets issued 6 intentional walks.
Wow.
Okay, so and for a guy to reach base 9 times and to come back the next day and to pitch okay the way he did in Game 4, it just makes you shake your head.
Now, you look at the Dodgers, and people were talking about if they won this World Series, and they were heavily favored to win the World Series, that it would be a dynasty. What a run, 3 World Series in 6 years. If they lose to the Toronto Blue Jays, does their legacy get damaged, or are they taken out of that dynasty conversation?
Look, and people can define dynasty. Everyone's going to have their own way to do that. I think winning back-to-back has to be part of it. When we talk about the great teams of all time, we talk about the Big Red Machine, 75 and 76, right? They played in the World Series in 72, but that's the core of it. Those Yankee teams, whether the 20s or 30s or 1950s, it's always with the back-to-back at some point during the thing, and with the Yankee teams in the late 90s. Absolutely, I think that's a big part of it. And, it was really interesting because one of the epic stories about the legacy, of course, in sports is, and I know you know the story, how the 72 Dolphins were the last team to go undefeated in the NFL, and every time the last team would finally suffer a first loss, they all shared champagne, which I always thought was kind of weird, like rooting against other players. And so I asked that question to Darryl Strawberry in recent days and Paul O'Neill, and none of those guys are at all actively rooting against the Dodgers. But Paul did say to me, it's even if they win the World Series, it's not 4 and 5 years. And so I do think that there is something to, if they want to be talked about as a great team, they need to win back-to-back.
Yeah, and I've been saying on this show, Buster, if you're a Yankee fan, you should be rooting for the Blue Jays. Although they're in the East, you want the Yankees to be the last team that repeats. I mean, I'm not saying that players should actively do it, but the Yankee fans, you want to have that special thing that you won those 3 in a row, and you're the last team to go back-to-back.
See, when I was a fan and I rooted for teams, that's absolutely the way that I would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when I grew up a Dodger fan, and so when when they were playing, when the Dodgers were knocked out, I was rooting for the National League team because I wanted to stay the Dodgers with the second pass.
All right, so let's talk about the Blue Jays here. If the Blue Jays do pull this off and win their first championship since '93, baseball and sports in general, copycat. Blue Jays are doing this contact. They still hit their home runs, but they're not the top home run hitting team, but they don't strike out that much. They make pitchers work. Might there be a change in the way teams put together their teams?
I think it would be glacial, incremental change because, I've had this conversation with Ernie Clement and the other day with Miguel Rojas of the Dodgers that a lot of times, let's face it, a lot of what we're going to see next year, at least the beginning of the year, is going to be formulated in conference rooms next month. Right, where all the stat heads, front office types get in the same room and they evaluate players, they evaluate free agents, and what are they going to value? Exit velocity and power, and those are going to be the prime things. The things that Ernie Clement does well, put the bat on the ball. That's not ever going to be as valued as hit the ball out of the park because the focus is 162 games. It's big picture. And the funny thing is, every year we see this. We get to late August, early September. And it goes from being, we want that guy who gives us the best chance to hit a home run or drive the ball to the park to, hey, let's get the guy who helps us win games. And the Blue Jays are filled with those type of guys with their lineup, Davis Schneider and Addison Barber and Clement, all these guys who were sort of looked at as fringy parts in those conference rooms last November, and all of a sudden they play in the biggest month of baseball in October. So I think there would be more recognition of it, but I don't think it's going to change. I think if anything's going to be taken out of the postseason this year, it's going to be the use of the split-fingered fastball, whether it was Savage, Slittler. That pitch is gaining popularity in a big way.
All right, so if in fact the Blue Jays win, and that's a big if, they still have to win a game, is the MVP Guerrero or is it Savage?
Oh, I think it's Vladdy. Just watching, day after day in this series, he's so important to this team because, they aren't a dynamic offensive team in the way that the Dodgers can be or the Yankees can be, and they don't have future Hall of Famers. You need that anchor guy. And it's been fascinating. I've covered a lot of the Blue Jays in this postseason, and it's been utterly fascinating to see him sort of come out of his shell. He spent a lifetime in baseball. He, generally speaking, was sort of viewed as a quiet guy, kept to himself. And Kevin Gossman, who starts tonight for the Blue Jays, told me that after Bo Bichette got hurt in early September, it was like Vladdy blossomed. right? He became more of a leader. And not only we seeing that, of course, is this incredible skill he has to be able to hit for power, but also to make contact and be a pest in those moments. For me, he would be the MVP.
And you know what's funny, too, Buster? Everybody was saying when they gave him that contract, $500 million, and he'd never really been a player that seemed like he was a difference maker. If they win this World Series, right, and he never, ever wins another World Series, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you'll correct me, the $500 million, worth it. For what it's worth to the Blue Jays and that organization,
yes.
That $500 million is worth it.
100%. It's not very often that when you ask people what the turning point in their season was, where someone's going to say it was a contract signing.
Right.
It's usually, a team meeting, an acquisition, a big game or something like that. What you hear from player after player from folks in the team is, man, when Vladdy signed and that was put to bed and everybody knew, okay, he's here. And you're not going to have idiot sports writers like Buster on the air talking about whether or not he's going to be traded. That completely changed the culture within that room, and everyone pulled together, and this is what we're seeing.
All right, before I let you go, we now have a 33-year-old manager in Blake Butera. And I'm going to give you a little information that you could break on ESPN if you'd like. The Braves have contacted me about talking to my 10-year-old son, Charlie, to be their manager. Why are they going so young? I mean, Vitello is in his 40s, but he's still essentially young for the Giants. Why are they going this route?
Yeah, and I think the hiring of Vitello really demonstrates that the lines are blurring. There used to be, the managers used to be known as the field general, and the grizzled, the Earl Weavers, Billy Martins, who are effectively the most important person in the organization. Those days are gone. Mm-hmm. And now, in terms of pure power, I look at the managers these days in some organizations, their power is like that of the White House spokesperson. And they're not the president. They're sort of delivering the message from the organization. I think it's probably, they do have managers, making lineups. You do have in-game choices, but the bottom line is they don't have as much power. And I talked to someone yesterday who spent a lot of time doing interviews recently for some of these jobs, and what he said was a lot of the questions are built around the issues of compliance, right? Are you going to come in and work with everybody else and hear out the analysts and hear from the front office people? Are you going to do that? Or are you going to be a rogue on your own? And I think that, a lot of these guys who manage now, they understand that the front offices basically want to have, people listen to take in their information, utilize their information.
All right, so I'll ask you a final question. Then why do they fight it so much, Buster? Oh, the managers make all the... We know they don't. I mean, they might make it in the moment, but they're making it off information that's passed down from upstairs. At the least, it's collaborative, but they refuse to say it, and they refuse to make any of the analytic people available to be interviewed. Why did these numbers come up? Why do you put emphasis on these numbers? If you're going to be totally transparent, let's tell everybody exactly how this works. How do they make the cake? They won't tell us.
I think that the comparison of the White House spokesperson actually is apt in this situation, because I think that one of the things they don't want to have is mixed messaging. So if, reporters had access to the, 3 different analysts who were involved in the, giving the advice of, go with this bullpen setup in a given game, that you might get a mixed message, and they prefer to have, Carlos Mendoza speak for the Mets, and Aaron Boone speak for the Yankees, and Dave Roberts speaks for the Dodgers front office, as opposed to, the 3 analysts who may not be as adept as David giving answers. I think that's why the White House spokesperson comparison, I think, is actually apt.
Yeah, but it's not as apt as I would want it to be, because Carolyn Levitt says stuff, but still Trump talks and says why he does what he does. There is no Trump in baseball. It's only Carolyn Levitt. It's only Aaron Boone and Carlos Mendoza. And we don't know what the people in the ivory tower who are actually making the decisions, why they make those decisions. Trump tells you why he makes the decisions.
And at the risk of being political, I would just say I think Trump is a bit of an outlier.
A little bit.
We didn't hear from past presidents. One.
Well, you cut out the last one. What was the last sentence?
I said I don't think we heard it from previous presidents quite as often as we hear from the current one.
True, but we do hear from previous presidents more than you hear from front offices. Yeah. So enjoy Game 6. I'm very jealous. Have a great time. It's going to be a great atmosphere.
Okay, Michael. Always fun.
All right, thanks. That's Buster Olney, and you could hear the game, the radio play-by-play on our sister station, 1050 ESPN New York. All right, it's time now for the co-host. We'll talk some Giants and 49ers. Jets are off this week with a bye. You know the number, 1-800-919-3776. Later on, toward the end of the hour, two-pack for sure. I'll give you my 2 NFL picks. Hey, it's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now's the perfect time to join because FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/K to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus, physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Friday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Will the Knicks get back on track in Chicago? Can Jackson Dart and the Giants find a way to upset the 49ers?
He is uber talented. I understand why Dayball went to the blue tent. I probably would have went too. I mean, kid's good, man. He's a really, really, really good kid. I think New York hit on this one big time.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
This October, the only thing scarier than missing the game is missing out on a brand new Kia. At Kia City of the Bronx, 3505 Connor Street is where the ghosts of old rides get traded in and new legends are born. They've got a monster lineup of new Kias that'll take you from tailgates to haunted houses in style. Visit KiaCity.com or call 646-917-7955. Don't get spooked, get moving. Kia City of the Bronx, where Halloween meets horsepower.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Looking for the best internet deal? It's just a fast phone call away. Only Optimum Fiber Internet delivers the fastest and most reliable fiber internet starting at just $40 a month. That's right, lightning fast fiber internet at a price that won't slow you down. Call 888-4OPTIMUM today to lock in your offer in just a few minutes and see how you can also get the Disney Plus Hulu bundle and an unlimited mobile line on us. Don't take slow for an answer. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today. Terms apply.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade hybrid an incredible SUV? Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600-plus miles of range. Is it the driver behind the wheel? What if it's all of that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. That's 562-314-4603.
A reminder for everyone playing ESPN New York Survivor. Make your pick before Sunday's 1 o'clock games to stay in the running for the $5,000 grand prize. After 8 weeks, we have 309 survivors, leaving only Chris Canty and Evan Cohen as the surviving ESPN personalities. That's impressive from one show. Follow along on the ESPN New York app, powered by SplashSports.com. All right, it's time for you to take part. You've heard us talk about the Knicks. You've heard us talk about World Series Game 6 tonight. Now I want to hear from you as we take you to 3 o'clock, 1-800-919-3776. Rangers finally won a game against a good team, 4-3 over the Oilers in overtime, and the Islanders lost to the Hurricanes 6-2. Let's go to Lenny in Montvale. Lenny, talk to me.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good. Hey, just let you know, I batted 1,000 at Ebbets Field. I think I'm the only one who ever say that because in 1959 I was 13 years old, and we played probably the last game at Ebbets Field. If anybody knows those Brooklyn damn Dodgers that left me, and I hope they lose because when they left me, they broke my heart. Now, to get to my point, why are they wearing these mitts sliding into the bases now? Why they let them do it? On that play the other day when they reversed the call, it was so close. It's a benefit for the runner to be safe on a play.
Lenny, I couldn't agree with you more. I've been saying this for years. The sliding gloves extend the hand. They do. They go beyond the finger. They do. So I'd say they extend your hand by maybe 2.5 inches. And it's allowed. So you're making your arm 2.5 inches longer. How many bang-bang plays are there in baseball? That 2.5 inches is going to make the difference. I don't understand why they allow it, and they do. Why can't they do it like the old days? You used to hold the batting glove in your clenched fist. That was your sliding hand, so that didn't get jammed. This is an abuse. You are making yourself get to the bag quicker than you would if you didn't have that sliding mitt. It's ridiculous. Let's go to Martin in Brooklyn. Martin.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Martin.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
All good.
Hey,
all good.
Hey, look, I think you're very fair, and I like your commentary, but I just think it's a little ironic that for you to expect for John Schneider to do what's good for the best of the game. And
No.
I
don't think that. I think John Schneider's done the right thing. I think that baseball.
No. I know you said he's done the right thing.
Right.
But just when you say players, coaches should do it for the good of the game, not at this point.
No, but Martin, I never said that. I'm saying that John Schneider did what he should do. I'm saying that baseball should change the rules, because why would you take the bat out of Ohtani's hand on the biggest stage of the sport? John Schneider's done nothing wrong, nor should he allow Ohtani to swing the bat. He should have walked him 6 times.
Okay. All right. So good. So cool. So let's relate it to when you talk about basketball with the hack-a-shack rule.
Mm-hmm.
When you say that, they're not doing the same thing, absolutely, because you're not allowing the Lakers to run offense with the most dominant player. And then when you take into consideration that when he's playing with Kobe, you're now taking the second best player out of the rotation to run offense.
But
so it happens in basketball too.
No, it doesn't, though, because the reason it happened to Shaq is because Shaq couldn't shoot free throws. What you're doing to Ohtani is not because he can't do something well. You're doing it to Ohtani because he does something too well. If Shaq was able to shoot free throws at a 70% rate, they would have never done hack-a-Shaq. They did hack-a-Shaq because he couldn't shoot free throws. There's a big, big difference. The team is exploiting something that this player can't do. In the case of walking Ohtani, you are not allowing the player to do something that he does well, but it's not something that he does poorly that you're accentuating. He happens to be a great base runner, so you're putting a great base runner on base. It's not the same thing as hack-a-Shaq. You're right. They could take him out of the play and take the ball out of his hands, but that's his fault. Ohtani's getting walked only because of his greatness. Shaq is getting hacked only because he can't shoot free throws. To me, that's a huge difference. Huge difference. Steve in Bergen County. Steve.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for taking the call. I've been thinking about this ever since you had Pettit. I guess it was for Old Timers Day, when he said towards the end of his career, he would they said they were limiting him to 100 pitches, so he'd throw less waste pitches. What did you think about Snell 0-2 so many times the other day, just digging those curveballs into the dirt? I mean, he let that one dude score from first base on 3 wild pitches. These guys don't know how to throw a waste pitch anymore. A waste pitch is supposed to be close to the zone that you're tempted to hit. Every pitcher, the Yankees do it like crazy, and it drives up their pitch count.
They throw wasted pitches. You're absolutely right, Steve. And I've long said, if we're going to stick to that 100-pitch ridiculous mark, right, then when you're 0-2, go after them. Try to get them. Don't waste 3 pitches trying to get cute. You're wasting those pitches. You might waste 10 to 15 to 20 pitches a game because you're in your head. It's the old days where managers would actually fine players if they gave up a hit on an 0-2 pitch. That's got to get out of the game. You got to get smart. You got to realize the game has changed. So 100-pitch limit now, that's when managers get itchy. That's when they want to go to the bullpen. So you should not reach that 100-pitch limit where 9 to 15 pitches are wasted. It's silly. It's stupid. I'm not saying groove a pitch down the middle, but don't waste a pitch way outside the zone that the batter has no thought about even swinging at. Steve, I've said it for a long time. So 2 things people have actually backed me up on. The sliding mitt, which I think is ridiculous, and the 0-2 pitch, which automatically at least becomes 2-2. That's 2 wasted pitches when you're at a finite limit of pitches that you could have. In the old days, when they would fine you for giving up a hit on 0-2, pitchers threw 160 pitches, so it didn't make a difference. Andrew in Medford. Andrew.
Yeah, hello?
Hello, Andrew.
Yeah, hey, Michael. I got a question with the Giants. You see New England, they got Drake May 2 years ago, right? And in the offseason, they're really getting their program together. They drafted 2 rookie linemen, and they got 2 veteran linemen. And now look, they're 6-2. Do you see the Giants when the draft comes up? There's 3 top linemen in the draft. You see them going first, picking a lineman and a wide receiver, and then, other needs they need, and maybe in the veteran area too, going after those areas to protect Dart.
Well, I think that you have to have a great offensive line. You have to have a great quarterback. So what the Patriots did, they drafted May. They didn't like the coach that they had. They got rid of him after 1 year, and they bring in Mike Vrabel. And Mike Vrabel has gotten the most out of Drake May. But the most important thing they did was they brought back McDaniels to be the offensive coordinator, and he's a genius. And you can see what Drake May has become. So the Giants are a step closer to being a good team because it seems like they have the quarterback. And everybody thought that Drake May was that quarterback. He just needed the right people surrounding him. So obviously during the draft, you want to add to the people that are surrounding him to make him that guy with Jackson Dart. So is it going to be Brian Dable who does that? Is it going to be Joe Shane who makes those picks? I'm not sure. But you do have the most important thing in place if you believe that Dart is the guy. And that's something that the Jets don't have. The Jets don't have that in place. Because even if Justin Fields has turned a corner and he's somewhat serviceable for the rest of the year, he's not your quarterback of the future. You're going to make that pick this year for your quarterback of the future. Might be the wrong year to have it. I don't know if anybody really jumps out at you. So until you have that guy in place, you're not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Let's go to Brendan in Babylon. What's up, Brendan?
Michael, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Thank you for taking the call. So I want to get into this point about, if baseball has a problem that they need to address with walking a guy like Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that, especially from you, I feel like I'm a little surprised by your take. The history of baseball, the beauty of baseball is that the unexpected can happen, that the guy in the eighth hole can be the guy that's called on, in a big spot in the biggest games, right? And rewind the clock to when there was no DH and you would walk the guy in the eighth spot to pitch to the pitcher in the fourth inning. Like, that is the art and beauty of baseball. Like, changing the rules to say you've got to pitch to a guy. Like, I'm really surprised. I don't see it. Well,
the reason you're surprised, I would assume, is because you know that I'm more or less a traditionalist. But I love the game, and I think the game has to grow. So, yeah, I love the strategy involved with an intentional walk as well. But when you take the spotlight off arguably the greatest player that we'll ever see on the biggest stage, and you don't allow him to swing the bat, Brendan, is that good for baseball? And you can't say don't change the rules. They specifically changed the rule for Ohtani. If he starts a game and gets knocked out after 2 innings, he remains in the game as a DH. They changed the rule completely. So why wouldn't you change this rule for the betterment of the game?
Yeah, I'm with you. I guess we're a little bit alike, right? I'm in that traditionalist mode, and I agree with you. Like, some changes, the little things make the base a little bigger, and kind of modify.
Well, how about the clock?
Like, I
do you like the clock? Do you like the clock?
I do like the clock.
And but Brendan, that one of the big things that people said about the beauty of baseball is no clock. Well, they put a clock in, and to me, baseball's still beautiful, Brendan.
Yep.
So I understand what you're saying. But I think we're on the same page, but I want the sport to show its best. I want the sport to be able to step up and go, look at what we're about. Look at this unbelievable player, this unicorn that we'll never, ever probably see again in our lifetime. But in a game where probably 20 million people were consuming that game, they went 2.5 hours, and Ohtani never got to swing the bat. How is that good for baseball? But what Buster said is true. If you eliminate the intentional walk, you can't force a pitcher to throw him pitches to hit. But unless he's throwing it like 5 feet outside the zone, which then puts a wild pitch in play, he can expand the zone and try to hit the ball 5 inches off the plate. Yogi Berra did it all the time. Something to think about. I don't think they're going to do it, but I just thought it was criminal that this guy who has this otherworldly talent was not allowed to play. They said, no, you can't play. Like if Tom Brady was the quarterback of the Patriots in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, no, you can't play. We're taking the ball from you. You're not allowed to throw it. That's exactly what they did to Ohtani. You're not allowed to play. YouTube TV customers get the sports you love on ESPN back. Get it back, including college football, college game day, Monday Night Football, NBA, college basketball, and more. Act now. Go to keepmynetworks.com to get ESPN back. When we come back, 2-pack for sure. I'll give you my picks for the weekend. Yeah, we'll take more of your phone calls as well. It's K and U until 3. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg at that point, right here on ESPN New York.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Ballybet Sportsbook. Yo, Ballybet stacked for football season. When it comes to sportsbook apps, it's undefeated. Ballybet. Check out that brand new parlay zone. Here's the kickoff. Build your bets and place them right on your phone. What? Live bets, daily boosts, and promos. Increase your odds so you can win more dough. Touchdown! Ballybet's the play. Make game day more fun and download it today. Must be 21 plus, New York only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Ballybet Sportsbook and Casino. Download it.
1 in every 6 men is likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. That's why New York Presbyterian wants to remind men over 50 to book a prostate cancer screening. A simple blood test is all it takes. It could save your life. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester at locations near you. Schedule your annual prostate cancer screening today at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
Right now at Bay Ridge Honda, fall into savings with unstoppable savings across their full lineup of Honda cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and EVs during the Fall for Honda sales event. You can get the HR-V all-wheel drive LX for $299 a month with 0 down during the Fall for Honda sales event. Plus, receive thousands in benefits and savings with their Bay Ridge Plus Advantage plan. Upfront pricing, total peace of mind. Visit BayRidgeHonda.com. 39 months lease, 10,000 miles per year, 0 down plus tax, tag, and fees. See dealer for full details.
D'Agostino & Associates is a legacy firm, and I'm proud to be a part of that legacy. I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and like my father, I fight to get justice for the injured.
The hustle and grit of these streets shaped me. I'm John D'Agostino, and from the concrete to the courtroom, I built this injury firm 35 years ago to get accident victims justice. So call my team first, 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
You want justice? Think Jenna D'Agostino. Think D'Agostino & Associates. Justice isn't just a word. For us, it's a way of life. It's having compassion for your struggle and getting you paid for your pain. Now that's justice. D'Agostino & Associates means being there for the injured.
Seriously injured? Call my team first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino & Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there, and I'll be there for you.
D'Agostino, Law, Bite Back. There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-5 2.5 S Select for $229 for 36 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. VIN S0595731. MSRP $31,915. Zero security deposit. Ends 10/31/25.
Rich Eisen here for Sonos, the speakers that bring every game to life in my own house. With studio quality sound, Sonos makes you feel like you're right there in the stadium. Whether you're cheering on your team, binging your favorite show, or listening to the hottest songs, Sonos fills every room with incredible sound. Setup is easy. Just plug in, open the Sonos app, and you're ready to go. Want stadium quality sound at home just like me? Because I love Sonos. You will too. Explore soundbars, speakers, and more at Sonos.com. Sonos. They look as good as they sound.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has all the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats right at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy teams synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Fight fans, Bud Light and ESPN New York are sending you to UFC at Madison Square Garden. Tap the Bud Light tile on the ESPN New York app and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets in the ESPN Suite. Catching the action alongside ESPN New York's Peter Rosenberg. Listen and enter through the Bud Light tile to score your shot at the ultimate fight night.
Bud Light is proud to be the official beer sponsor of UFC. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, yeah. You know what that means. It's two-pack for sure. I give you my 2 NFL picks. 2-0 last week. I think I'm 12-8 on the season, which is just extraordinary. Just extraordinary. Better than anybody on the station. Here are the 2 picks that you should consider. The Rams are 14-point favorites over the Saints. This game will be in L.A. Tyler Shuck, who's an old rookie, he's going to start. The Saints are finally going to make a change. But Kamara and Shaheed, both banged up. Don't know their availability. Puka Nacua is going to come back for the Rams. I think the Rams blow out the Saints. Saints are not good. They're not good at all. I could see the Rams winning this one by 25 points. But all they need to do is win by 15, and you're a winner. So the Rams giving 14 over the Saints. My second pick, we go to Tennessee. The Titans are 9.5-point underdogs against the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers. Yeah. Titans might not have Ridley and Simmons. Those are big losses for them. The Chargers might finally be finding their way. They have a long rest off their last game where they blew out the Vikings 37-10, and I think that they are going to just manhandle the Titans. So I'll give the 9.5 gladly. I don't care if it's on the road. I think the Chargers will just stomp over the Titans. Now, you might say, hey, Michael, you're giving away a total of 23 or 23.5 points in your 2 games. Yeah, that's right, I am. Because the Rams are going to blow out the Saints and the Chargers are going to blow out the Titans. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm not saying that you should do. And I'll give you a bonus, which is not part of the 2-pack, because this is not 3-pack for sure, because the name wouldn't make sense. But I like the Packers giving 13.5 over the Panthers as well. Big numbers, but for me, I don't care, because I think you're going to start seeing some blowouts in the NFL now. Teams are starting to find their way, know exactly what they're doing. Now, the local, you've got the Giants, 2.5-point underdogs against the 49ers at home. And I kind of like the 49ers in this game. The Giants coming off that 38-20 shellacking in Philadelphia. The Niners, now they don't have Bosa, they don't have Warner. They won't have them for the whole year. But I think they're going to come in and they're going to put a hurting. You can see the nice things that Salah and Shanahan are saying about Jackson Dart. So I think they've got a good read on him, and they've got ways that they want to stop him. I don't know how the Giants are going to stop Christian McCaffrey. I don't know how. Because they couldn't stop Saquon Barkley last week. I think McCaffrey's going to run all over them. 2.5 points doesn't seem like a lot. If the Giants are going to lose this game, I think they're going to lose by about 10. And if they win, it's not even going to be close. 2.5 is not going to come into play. So give me the 49ers. I'll give the 2.5 again. That's just my local pick. It's not my 2-pack. My 2-pack picks, the Rams and the Chargers. All right, let's go to the phones as we end this great week. Tom in Putnam. Tom.
Hey, Michael, I wanted to get your opinion on this. Don, Han, and Peter were talking about this the other day, how they were walking Ohtani because they don't want Ohtani to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use the Yankees as an example because I'm more familiar with their lineup. But if I wanted the Yankees to lose and I served up the game-winning hit or home run or whatever to Aaron Judge, yes, I would be annoyed, but I would be like, well, of course, it's Aaron Judge. That's what he does. If I served up and I let Anthony Volpe beat me, my attitude would be like, I can't believe I let that bum beat me. So, like, why would you want to get beaten by lesser talent? If you're going to get beat, I think it's easier to swallow by losing to their best.
Tom, that's a very odd take. So why would you want to challenge the best when you could challenge someone of lesser talent? And if you end up losing because the guy with lesser talent beat you, that's on you. But if you allow Aaron Judge to beat you, that's also on you. Wouldn't you sleep easier if Anthony Volpe beat you than if Aaron Judge beat you? Because you shouldn't allow Aaron Judge to beat you. You should dare Anthony Volpe to beat you. That doesn't make sense. You'd feel more valor if it was Aaron Judge, the MVP, who beat you. That doesn't make sense. I want the odds in my favor. If I'm a manager, I'm looking to shift the odds in my favor. So the odds would be more in my favor if I decided to challenge Volpe than to challenge Judge. And it wasn't even a case of Ohtani or Muncy or Andy Pages. I mean, they're so afraid of Ohtani that they'd rather pitch to Betts. And it turned out to be smart because Betts has had a terrible World Series. And then Freeman than to deal with Ohtani. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't co-sign that. It doesn't make any sense to me. You'd rather challenge the better player than have the hurt of having the lesser player beat you. I can't believe Don Hahn and Rosenberg said that. I can't. Well, we'll see what they're saying today. Their show's coming up in just a moment. It's been a fun 10 hours again. It always is. These 10 hours fly so quickly from 1 to 3, Monday through Friday. I'll be back again on Monday at 1. Hope you had a good time this week. I hope you enjoyed the 2-pack for sure. Hope you enjoyed our great guest as well. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for a goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. Talk to you at 1 on Monday.
Fight fans, Bud Light and ESPN New York are sending you to UFC at Madison Square Garden. Tap the Bud Light tile on the ESPN New York app and enter for your